All right, we live. We live, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in.
Uh,
Come on in. We got another topic lined up for y'all. Y'all see what's going on with all this military occupying the streets of America. Yep. We seeing,
Crazy.
yeah. Usually they use National Guards for things of this nature, but now they bring in the military. Um, so now we seeing Trump, uh, activated military in Chicago, Oregon, Los Angeles, Washington D.C., Chicago. So yeah, this is what we facing here. Now, people making a big deal out of him just, you know, activated military in blue states, but sorry to tell y'all, they gonna roll this out to everybody. And it ain't gonna matter with red state, blue state, that shit ain't gonna matter. So make sure y'all hit that like button, man. We gonna get into this. So they had the military in Chicago, running wild through Chicago, the ICE running around snatching people up, just standing out there, just snatching people up, illegally. And local law enforcement and the governor and the mayor, they speaking out, they really not feeling ICE coming into their territory, just you know, being tyrants running through the city, just snatching people up. So we gonna get into some of this. We got some news lined up. We got some articles. So let's go ahead and get into this real quick.
On the south side of Chicago, protesters faced off with immigration authorities on Saturday. Officers even shooting a woman they claimed was armed, and with others had allegedly rammed their cars into law enforcement vehicles. Chicago is bracing itself for more scenes like this after President Trump authorized the deployment of the National Guard. After sending them into fellow Democrat-led cities Los Angeles and Washington, D.C., Trump signaled last month that Chicago home city of Charlie Kirk was his next target at the activists' memorial event.
And one of the last things he said to me is, please, sir, save Chicago. We're going to do that. We're going to save Chicago from horrible crime.
Then this week at Secretary of War Pete Hegseth's extraordinary meeting of generals, Trump claimed the move necessary to tackle crime.
And I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military. Because we're going into Chicago very soon. That's a big city with an incompetent governor, stupid governor, stupid.
Y'all gotta peep the language he used. Keyword. He said we should use these areas as training grounds. Training grounds. So that tells you right there, they're gonna roll this out to all of America. First of all, they're actually overriding the state. When he signed in that bill he signed in, that executive order that he signed to bring military in, he basically override all the states that they would usually use National Guards for, or local state police as well. Like he using military to actually override, local authorities in each state. So you gotta realize what they doing. You gotta realize what they doing. He's trying to militarize the police in America on a federal level completely. So he said, let's use these places as testing grounds, basically.
That's because when the financial collapse happened, they gonna need those military on the street. So they already putting them on the street for other purposes. See, they like to use both sides of the government, the Democrats and Republicans, to forward their agenda. And they got us argued amongst each other, rather it's the Democrats that's doing it or the Republicans, when it's just the federal government doing it themselves. Like it
Yeah.
don't matter who's in office. It don't matter what face is in the Oval Office. They still gonna move their agenda ahead, and they just use little backstories and stuff like, oh, we gotta get the foreigners out of the country and all that, just so they can deploy these ICE agents and say, oh yeah, the crime
Crime
rate
rate.
been
Yep.
high. The crime
Right.
rate been high. There's been illegal aliens coming in here. They just putting them on there so people putting them on the street so people can get used to their presence, so they could continue with their agenda. And no matter who comes in office next, those troops are already gonna be on the street when the economic collapse happens. Because that's what's
Right.
coming next.
So
People ain't realizing it. That's what's happening. The economic collapse is what's happening.
and,
That's
and
that's what
right.
they're really preparing for. And like you said, it's a training ground because they want to train the troops to already be on the grounds in the United States working with local police. But they not
Absolutely.
realizing the local police ain't feeling it because it's
They
like
are
they
not
just
feeling it.
parading around on their jurisdiction and they making things worse in the areas.
Yeah, because this situation here is not even meant for military. Like we don't need military to fight crime in America. We have state and local police, local and law enforcement for that. And another thing, they know exactly what they're doing because when you bring in military, that most likely you crossing the line, which is on the brink of have this country is on the brink of a civil war, which is in the plans as well. They want a civil war to take place. Because if what a civil war does is bring down the value of everything. Everything collapses when a civil war happens. So let me just grab this article real quick before we get back into that because yeah, I mean, I'm like, all right, well, you can see them setting the stage up for that anyway, because if you want to bring in a new financial system, you got to collapse the old one. So it says economic. First of all, let me let y'all know what the head of the title. MAGA's vision: the second civil war dangerously misread America's, fragment political and geographic. So let me go down. They actually highlighted this part right here: economic collapse. So the United States economy is deeply interconnected with the global financial system. The internal conflict would shatter the confidence in America's governance and market almost immediately. The U.S. dollar, the long world's reserve currency, would lose value, and investors will flee to safer assets, which is cryptocurrency. That's what they want to flee to, and they are already dumping a lot of money. They're already liquidizing a lot of things in um, and putting it into crypto. So the stock markets would crash, not just domestically, but globally, triggering a severe worldwide recession or depression. Supplies change and dependent on America's ports, agricultural exports, and technological innovation would be disrupted. Basic goods such as food, medicine, and fuel will become scarce in the conflict zones, pushing inflation higher and compounding the humanitarian crisis. So, what they want to do is collapse the economy anyway, first of all, because they want to build new infrastructure in America and abroad. So, that's what we're facing here. That's why you see them fighting over there in Gaza, over there in Israel. They trying to move in to certain areas of Palestine. You see them slowly creeping up into Egypt because they want to rebuild in all those areas. But it's all connected to the same system here in America and abroad. So that's basically what they want to do anyway. So they know it, and with this collapse that's happening, they setting the stage to have military occupying these areas. Um, Let me switch back real quick. But yeah, they want to bring in that cryptocurrency ASAP. So they want this civil war to take place anyway. They want this this population disruptive population where the citizens is fighting amongst the police, or the police is fighting amongst the federal agents, and all this disruption. They want that to happen anyway, and it's going to happen because they're overstepping their boundaries.
See, but it's the thing though. Who the Civil War is gonna who's gonna be fighting in this Civil War? Who's gonna be who versus who?
Right? You got to ask yourself that question because I mean, when things are scarce, you mean people be really fighting amongst each other instead of them fighting instead of people grouping together and actually going against the government. People going to fight amongst each other because you usually fight amongst the people that's closer to you anyway. So as the resources lesser and lesser and lesser, people's going to be fighting over scraps, basically over survival. It's survival, basically throwing people into survival mode even more than they are now. So I don't know, bro. I think with military presence is going to disrupt the public anyway. With having military presence, because you gotta think about it. If the more they squeeze, the more people gonna, I mean, just gonna agitate the public. You look at local police. Local police is really not feeling, um, military presence. Not only that, when Trump had that meeting over there at the Quantico over there in Virginia, in the speech that they was having, you seen some disgruntled looking generals was sitting in the audience, like they wasn't really feeling that shit that they was up there saying, because they know they not really trying to, police America. You're not everybody's going along with that shit.
That's why they want to use federal ICE agents. They want to use That's why they're using federal ICE agents. And what can end up brewing is federal ICE agents overstepping their boundaries and then getting into it, local law enforcement, and then eventually militia, and then National Guard type of ordeals. Because if you think about it, all they doing is agitating the situations that's already brewing. But once the economic collapse happens, that's going to be another whole can of worms. And when that happens, that's when anything can happen at that point. Anything can happen. And then next thing you know, you'll see United Nations troops over here
Right.
in
And
those
that's all
areas also.
right.
And yeah, that's I mean, they trying to stir something like that up in the United States. It can happen, but it's a possibility it won't though. It's always a possibility because that plan might not work out this time because people are more informed. See, they ran these types of schemes and scams throughout history. Every time they change the financial system, they always start off with like a virus or something. So they always hit us with the COVID stuff. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Now that basically crippled the economy even more than it was in 2008 when they did that crisis and they was giving everybody those little stimulus checks and everything in 2008. And then after that, Bitcoin was created in 2009 because they already knew they was going to eventually switch to crypto at that time.
Right.
That's why conveniently 2008 we had the big crash, which was the big recession that we had, and then by 2009 they created Bitcoin in the background because they knew that we was eventually going to go to Web 3 and eventually be controlled by digital currencies because that's the end goal. And they know order to get digital currencies in the economy to embed it, to integrate it, to get people to accept it, they gotta crash the old economy first. And you're gonna be seeing less and less cash circulating. Because once they put the stable coins into law and the banks start using them, then
One
the
thousand
banks are
percent.
less likely not going to accept cash as much
No
anymore.
cashless
A lot of
society.
banks
One
gonna be
thousand.
like, yeah, a lot of banks gonna be like, we don't really accept cash here. We just deal with stable coins.
Yeah.
That's their goal. And once the banks only deal with digital currencies and start rejecting cash, and that can happen because once Congress signed stablecoins into into law, then it would just be integrated into our economy as legal tender, like gold and regular cash. So stablecoins would be seen as legal tender, which means that banks could just be like, oh, we only deal with stablecoins. We don't deal with cash. So you can't even deposit your cash here. That's how they gonna phase cash out. And the thing is, they got it set to where it's hard for people to fight against it because they already got us locked into this digital system where we're paying for everything with Cash App, PayPal, Apple Pay. So it'd be easy for them to phase cash out now because people's already trained to not use cash. Like you see a lot of
Exactly.
people these days paying with their phones. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or when they wire each other money, they using PayPal or Cash App or Venmo
Exactly.
or something. So
Facts.
people are already programmed to not use cash. I barely have cash. A lot of people barely have cash these
Yeah.
days.
People don't really deal with
People
cash too
use credit
much.
cards or QR codes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. So I say in another 5 years they can easily phase cash out. easily, especially after they put the stable coins into law. And stable coins, that's going to be easier for banks to deal with because you can't rob banks anymore. Banks will be like, we're safe here because we can't rob us because we don't have any cash anymore. We all digital.
Yeah, everything is traded through digital wallets and shit, right?
And that's the
And,
less access that regular people would have to cash though, because they could just turn your money off once that. If they phase cash out, that's going to be the most dangerous thing for us because these wicked individuals phasing cash out, that's the worst right there because they could control your life 100% after
yeah,
that.
especially when they attach it to the social credit system. Yeah,
Right, and digital ID, yeah,
yeah, we
we're
screwed.
screwed.
We screwed with that. And we see our they already setting the stage for that anyway. We see they
Right,
already setting the stage. So that's I mean, if you so you will understand why Trump would try to bring the military in because he knows how chaotic it's gonna get when they flip that switch.
right.
I mean, you see them setting the stage. I mean, they make you make homeless illegal. Um, and what you gonna do with all them people anyway? So what they want you try to do recreate slave labor camps and shit? Yo, as long as American citizens still have guns, they gonna always have a fight on their hands. But they don't want to go that they don't want to do it to that extent. So they want to do it through the financial, through the agriculture, through various systems that we use every day. That way, you don't really have to fight no physical fight with it because I mean the people, of course, is gonna fight amongst each other. That's how it go when shit like this happen. Rarely some people, get it in their mind to stand together and and fight against the system that's trying to oppress everybody. But they don't really want to do that this day and age. People rather fight amongst each other. They want to make it a left right thing, or you see it more and more every day. It's the left fault. They blaming the left. They blaming the right. Man, it's all the motherfuckers' fault. To tell you the truth, and I'm talking about at the government level that they all banding together to try to keep us at a certain standstill. So I don't know, bro. Like, but I know with the Trump bringing his military in is definitely stirring up a lot of you have a lot of people being agitated behind this shit. And ICE is breaking all types of laws and shit anyway. All types of constitutional law. They done broke every goddamn law is possible. Like I'm seeing videos floating around the internet, and it's not even. I'm not talking about media. I'm just talking about people just recording with their phones and shit like that. And I'm like, they just doing the most right now. They really doing the most. Matter of fact, I wanted to switch to this real quick because Chicago police even getting tear gassed by goddamn ICE agents, which is crazy to me. Which is crazy. So you have Chicago. So you have the Chicago, ICE over there raiding in Chicago. The local police officers were reportedly subject to tear gassing by ICE agents while trying to protect residents caught in this crossfire. So let's go ahead and get into this real quick. Crazy.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all, you know that was fucked up. Y'all know that was fucked up. Y'all know that was fucked up. We're gonna go this way. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
So now you have ICE agents, you know, going at it with local law enforcement trying to protect the citizens because they over there just like violating the Constitution like crazy, just snatching up anybody, any and everybody, children, all types of shit they doing over there.
Those ICE agents are starting to sound like the Nazi party, aren't they?
Right.
That's like some shit that they started like during that time, like in World War II, when the invasion of Germany and Poland and all that. That's how they sent the Nazis in there, and they just take over local law enforcement and all that. Yeah, it's starting to look a lot like that. And the thing is, they could crank up a civil war, but physical wars never really solved anything.
You know,
They
so
could
shit.
solve most issues by just sitting there and talking and doing what's fair, and not have to shoot one bullet. And it's like that. Like, the most effective way Americans could fight back is not through shooting and using your First Amendment, your Second Amendment rights. Actually, the best way to fight back is just saying no. If enough of us say no, what they gonna do about it? Just think about it. If enough of us say no, we're not going to accept that into law. What would the government have no choice but to do but change things? There's over 300, it's like about 360, 370 million Americans in the United States, in the USA, right? What if 100 million said no? 200 million said no. You won't have to, Americans won't have to fire one shot at nobody.
Exactly.
It just that it's going to be no. And that's what they're afraid of. The information war. They more afraid of the information war than the gun war, like, or
Yeah.
bombs and bullets.
Right.
Like, they ain't really worried about. And the only way they only reason why they love doing bombs and bullets, because they love the blood sacrifice rituals that's behind it. Because, like, physical war with bombs and bullets, they just look at that as blood sacrifices, and they get power off of that. But what they really fear is people being awake to the shit that they're doing and saying no. Because when majority of people say no, it's nothing you could do anyway. It ain't enough government agents, or it ain't enough government period to take on the general public. Like, the general public, outnumber them 1,000,000 to 1, 10,000,000 to 1. You know what I'm saying? The general
Yeah.
public literally outnumber the governments of the world 10,000,000 to 1. You know what I'm saying? So now it's just about getting the information out there and people being educated on what's going on and conscious of what's going on around them, and just saying no to things. Like, nah, we're not going to accept no cashless society. It has to be something tangible. It has to be cash or gold or silver
Gold and
that people
silver.
can hold
Right.
on to, because we don't want the banks holding on to our money 100%. Being able to just turn your money off when you don't agree with something politically, that some type of propaganda or agenda that they got going on, like COVID. Like, when they did COVID and they was doing all this extra stuff just to shut small businesses down so the corporations could thrive. My bad, the corporations, they want to thrive. We don't need no. So majority of people said no cashless. We don't want no cashless society. What
Yeah,
they
they will
gonna
be
do?
forced. No, ain't nothing they can do about it. They
Ain't
will be
enough
forced.
ICE agents they can deploy on the street that can do anything to the general public. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
general public is saying no.
And they don't have enough
And
jail
I'm
cells
rather
to hold
Democrat or
everybody anyway.
Republican. Yeah, rather Democrat or Republican. You shouldn't want no cashless society 100%. Because
Yeah,
if
this
they,
that
if it's
side left and
100%
right.
cashless, they gonna control you 100%. Rather you Democrat or Republican. This ain't about no left or right wing. This is about everybody's equal freedom.
Exactly. So they all right, so we know that this is they definitely violating the Constitution with this shit. 100%. Uh,
Right.
all right, so I want the Quasi Comitatus Act of 1878, the federal law prohibiting U.S. military from performing domestic enforcement duties, the principles of reflecting longstanding American tradition and keeping military separate from civilian police power. This law applies to Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, and Space Force. So the 1878 Act limited them using police force for domestic law, domestic enforcement. So basically, Trump basically on some dictatorship, like override the state 100% and put military on the streets. A violation of the Constitution. Yeah,
I mean, this could cause certain states to succeed from the government and separate themselves. I know Texas at one point was talking about it.
becoming his
Like,
own
I could see a lot of
uh,
southern states definitely doing that, like Florida, Texas,
taxes. Right.
maybe some Midwest, like North Dakota and places like that, probably succeeding from the government at one point, the
Hmm.
federal government, because I mean, how corrupt things are, man. People just gotta people gotta complain to their local politicians to not let the federal government come in. But a lot of the local politicians and government, they local governments and stuff, the governors and all that, they controlled by the federal government because they looking for that funding. That's the only reason why. They don't want the federal government to cut their funding off to the state. Because
Yep.
there's a lot of state programs that just don't depend on state money. They depend on federal money too. So
Exactly.
that'd be the problem with that. But if they got millions of people calling them up every day saying, "Nah, we don't agree with what the federal government's doing. You need to get ICE agents the hell up out of here."
Facts.
What they gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Now they gotta make a decision. You just want to just keep getting that federal money, or you want a bunch of citizens invading your offices by the millions, standing out everywhere you go. There's millions standing out in front of your office, waiting for you to come in to tell you to to do better. Like, what do you like? What you want? So I mean,
Right.
that's you don't even need no civil war in the way that we think. We always think war is always just got to be
Yeah,
fought with
by
bullets and
bombs and
bombs.
guns. Right.
Yeah, it's not always about bombs and bullets with war. Like the most effective wars is the information wars and people being conscious of what's actually going on and making the proper decisions to ensure that you're still free at the end of the day. Like
And you
that's what
have
it's just really about.
right, but the thing about it is the governor of Illinois is definitely doesn't want military presence in the streets. The mayor, they already spoke out. You have also the Los Angeles governors. They it's actually the federal judge actually, you know, want to block Trump from putting military in Los Angeles as well. So a lot of the, officials from these states don't want military presence on the streets. They want to handle it on their own, and they want to use their own law enforcement at the state level to handle these so-called crime, because that's what he said it's for, to protect citizens against crime. I mean, it's been crime going on. So you have another agenda going on to put military on the streets. You have another agenda. And then people realize that Trump has a different agenda. You know what I mean?
But
To
ICE is
militarize.
literally supposed to be going after the immigrants. Like
They
they
going after
doing extra
everybody.
shit
Yeah, they
though.
doing extra
So
shit
they
though.
they not they not technically like the military. They I mean
Right,
they federal agents. Like they not really military. Like military would be considered like the actual military or National Guard. And National Guards, that's state.
right.
So
So he said
so
he
these
deployed.
are just like his this is like his own
He's
this is
saying
his own
military
little
for
agenda.
right. He trying to bring. He's saying military. Put military in those areas to protect ICE agents from doing from against citizens coming up against them from them doing their job. So I mean that's what he claims, but we clearly
But
see
that's
what the
not even
agenda is.
that don't even make no sense though,
It don't
because
make no sense.
that's clearly against the Constitution.
That's
We
positive
don't need them
homicidal,
on the
bro.
streets
We don't
here. We
need them
don't
for
need
that.
them on the
Right.
streets here. We got National Guards if we really needed military on the street.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
he don't have no control over the state's national guards. You know what I mean, that's federal over there. Each state is its own entity when it comes to that. So that's another thing. You're stepping past the Constitution and how and proper process by
Fact.
doing that. We
Exactly.
don't need our military on the streets over here. I mean, to tell you the truth, a lot of those other countries don't even need our military there. They only there to be bullies for the banks. I'm just gonna keep it real. The war always been that.
Yep. Protected. Yep. Whatever whatever central
Interest, which
bank,
is usually
yeah,
through the central banks, yeah.
right. Whatever central bank is in that area, they got military presence there to protect that central bank.
But it ain't even really about protecting the central bank. It's about protecting.
Or
it's
the
reach.
interest.
It's reach,
Interest.
yeah.
That's
It's
your
interest, and
interest.
its interest is not always directly just related to the money that they falsely lend out. They into all other businesses in those areas too.
Yeah,
And they
like
basically use our
building
military for
infrastructure. Right.
as henchmen, as basically henchmen.
Building new infrastructure. You know what I mean? That's what they,
So you're not really serving your country, you're really serving the central banks
and
and the
it's always been that way.
corporations.
Right. It's
Yeah,
always
so
been
you're
that
like,
way.
oh, you thank you for your service, but it's like thank you to your service for the central banks because they really the ones ruling shit. Because you gotta think about it, even way back in the Revolutionary War, they wasn't sending British redcoats over here. They was sending Hessian
Hessians,
troops. That
right.
was the central
Right.
banks paying for Hessian troops to come over here with the
Hmm.
redcoats on. They wasn't even Britain. They were German troops. A lot of those it was some British troops, but it was mainly Hessian troops. And that's just some simple. And they've been doing the same shit since then. They control both sides of the war. They
Facts.
had these businesses going on over here in the colonies, and they had their business going on over there in England and Germany, and that's what cranked off the Revolutionary War. And it's the same shit here. The people that own those central banks are the ones that's pulling the puppet strings. Because they fund both sides. They fund a little movement here, a little left wing movement here, a little right wing movement there. Yeah, I mean, they funding that shit. And when they want a war, all they do is just take out insurance policies on everybody because it's really their money at the end of the day because governments borrow from the central banks. So the central banks profit even more off of war. So they love the physical war. But what the central banks hate is the informational wars. They
Right,
don't
because the
let
physical war drives down the property value anyway. And it, when that happens, they buy up everything for pennies on the dollar and they rebuild again. They always rebuild new infrastructure when they collapse, the market. They just buy everything up, rebuild shit, and then yeah, because during the first Civil War, that's what they did. They did the same thing during the first Civil War. When the first Civil War kicked off, they collapsed like every industry that was known. They just collapsed it all, bought everything up. Same thing happened with you know during the time of Napoleon fighting fighting you know and then the market crashed and shit. Then they bought everything up, rebuild again. And like you said, they be funding both sides of the war. So yeah, it says hold on. I was trying to get to this real quick.
And when structures get destroyed, you know who own all the insurance policies?
The
The
banks.
banks. The banks even own the
The
institutions that
banks.
own the
Yep.
insurance policies. So they
Facts.
just like quadrupling their profits during war. They also control the companies that create the bombs and the bullets and all the other military accessories and shit that you need for war. They behind controlling those companies because they secretly own the corporations too. Because the corporations got to depend on the central banks. Like you gotta understand how this all works. Because a lot of the corporations they have to depend on getting business loans and credit lines and all that shit. So the bank really owns everything. That's why we trying to tell y'all is the you gotta follow the money, and then you gotta see all right now who's controlling the central banks. That's how you get to who's who. All right, so the central banks is controlling everything. So at the end of the day, who's controlling the central banks? And then who's controlling the people who's controlling the central banks? And there you go. Then you get who's behind everything. Because that's all it is. They destroy everything by war, but they make money off of everything on the war. They make
They make
money off
everything, bro.
the clothes that the troops are wearing, the bullets that they're shooting, the
Yep.
guns, the planes and boats that they're driving,
The food that's
all the
being
shit,
serviced. Yeah,
everything,
everything.
all even the structures that they're residing in is insured by the banks. Like it's also everything that gets damaged, everything that gets sold, everything they get a piece of everything. So they love war. They love war. They make so much money off of war. And
Facts.
then at the end of the day, after the land value is lessened, like you said, JR, they come in up and buy everything on
Buy
pennies on the
everything up.
dollar, well, all the profit that they made off the war in the first place.
Right.
So it's like a perfect system
It's
for
a
them.
it's a perfect pyramid scheme they got set up,
Hell yeah, that's a perfect pyramid scheme they
and
got,
they use
and we
our
just
own
keep
tax
falling
dollars
for that
against us
shit.
to do it. And they use our own tax dollars against us to do it. That's crazy as hell that they was able to just pull this shit off the way they do. And we fall
Yeah,
for it because they got us caught up in this left and right system and shit. They keep people separated through these this whole left and right shit. People be fighting amongst each other while they robbing everything, running out the back door with the fucking money
and they keep us in scarcity and competition. So they
every
keep
time.
us in scare. Yep, they keep us in scarcity, and we're constantly in competition with each other, with things that we shouldn't be in competition with. And I understand that it's human nature to be competitive in certain aspects, but we're supposed to be intelligent enough to know what we're supposed to be competitive in and what not. Like
Facts.
being competitive in sports and shit like that, yeah, that's a good outlet, an intelligent outlet to, fulfill our competitive needs. But when it comes to competing economically for the basic shit that you need to be a human, like water, food, shelter, energy, shit like that, we shouldn't be competing with each other. We should develop a system to where we all have access to that without having to give an arm a leg. You know what I'm saying? If you think about it, that's what separates us from the animals, that we are able to be intelligent enough to create systems that benefit everybody. But instead, we got a bunch of wicked, greedy, blood-sucking individuals that's ruling us, that we're just allowing to make us believe we're living in scarcity so we could be in high competition with each other, whether it's a class competition or religion competition or political party competition. We just constantly arguing and fighting amongst each other, saying my side is better, your side ain't, my side's the best, your side all that bullshit. Like, while they distracting us and they controlling and manipulating every parts of our lives, making us think that it's not enough to go around when it really is. It's
Exactly.
more than enough to go around.
The earth is plentiful. It's enough.
Plentiful.
It's enough to go ahead. The earth reproduces it. It don't even matter if we on this earth or not. This earth
Facts.
reproduces itself over and over again. So it's plentiful. It's enough for everybody to go around 10 times fold,
Hell yeah.
100 times fold, 1,000 times fold.
It is. This planet really can support 7, 8, 9, 10 billion people and feed them, clothe them, shelter them
Right.
without having to put in, all this unnecessary bullshit working 16, 17-hour shifts and bullshit like that just to get the bare
Yeah, that
necessities.
shouldn't even
That's
be.
slavery. That's not even real.
Yeah.
That's not even real. Like that,
Right.
the money we working for is not even real. They able to manipulate and devalue that shit every day. That's
Facts.
why prices are so expensive, because they devaluing the money through all the schemes that they running through the central banks and these fucking corporations with these credit scores and banks with their credit lines and all this all that
Manipulating.
bullshit that they got, that they playing us with.
Those are manipulation systems. They just
Manipulation
manipulating the
and
shit
making
out.
us think that it ain't enough to go around. Oh, we ain't got enough food to go around. That's bullshit. You know how much food one seed produced? You know how much
Endless.
food one
Endless.
seed, one apple seed could
Endless.
produce fucking trees
Right.
abundantly with apples, and then those apples have seeds.
See, yeah, because the
It's just
seeds
that they're
always
controlling the
reproduce.
shit
Right.
through government regulation, making us think that we in scarcity. It's government regulation that keeps us in scarcity. Like, we just got to start being conscious of what the fuck is going on around us. Like, if you think about it, back in the day, most people did homesteading. Homesteading meaning they had their own little piece of land where they
Facts.
had their own little couple animals. They had little gardens and shit where they was able to grow their own food for their own family. You know what I mean? Milk their own fucking goats and sheeps and cows. You know what I'm saying?
They
Process their own
right.
chickens, they own eggs and shit like that. So we didn't have to work as hard to go to a fucking job, 9 to 5 cubicle, sitting at some desk all day just so we can buy some shit that we can grow at home. You know what I mean?
Government
They
came in
literally
and
stole
yeah,
everything from us.
turned it into you know,
Shopping centers and shit like that.
industries. Yeah, like
Instead of and
industrial. It's when the industrial revolution came. That's what fucked everything up. When they started industrializing, mass producing everything.
yeah, they effed us over.
Yeah, I mean,
They gave
come
us fake convenience at the cost of our freedom.
freedoms. Yep.
Now we got fake food scarcity, and a lot of that, and a lot of shit. Reason why people who had famines and stuff back in the day, but if you actually look at the reason why there were famines, a lot of times it was some fucking uh dictator,
Right.
dickhead ruling over
Dictator.
them, and
Right.
it was always some type of government regulation. The reason why people didn't have access to food. It wasn't because it wasn't enough food to be produced. It's
Right.
because people wasn't able to use certain land. They wasn't able to hunt certain things in the king's forest and shit like that. If you really look at the famine that went on this planet, it was always caused by some corrupt ass government. It's never like a natural famine. It's so much land here that you can grow so much food and produce so much food on this land for billions of people plus some. But they make you believe that that's not true, and they're completely false. It's propaganda. They want you to believe there's never going to be enough. They want you to believe they gotta create this fake ass GMO. So, we could produce more food through GMO. How,
GMO.
when they
Right.
don't got no seeds?
And
How are you
laboratory.
producing more food through genetically modified? They saying they're using genetically modified food for food security. But how is that food secure? That does the exact opposite. Because GMO food don't have seeds in it, so
Cause
you can't
it
keep
can't reproduce.
producing the same. Exactly. And the
It don't
thing is, the reason
reproduce.
why they want GMO out there, because the GMO shit can be patented. That's the thing. And when a fruit grows or a vegetable grows that's GMO, it don't produces its seed. So you won't have access to the seeds to keep growing that same fruit or vegetable with that fruit and vegetable. You got to go back to Monsanto and all them other companies that's
Right.
selling the seeds to get the seeds from them. So that's
Fact.
actually taking away food security.
Fact.
That's literally taking away food security. They talking about they doing that shit for food security, so we have enough food for everybody to go around. So we created this genetically modified shit. That's their explanation, and it doesn't make any sense. It
Yeah,
doesn't make
actually
any sense because
reverse.
if you
Right.
sell a bunch of watermelons with no fucking seeds in them, and people can't even regrow the watermelon, then that's creating food shortage right there. That's creative. If you got people killing their animals off because you're coming up with these fake viruses, that these mad cow disease and all this bullshit, knowing
Right.
damn well they injecting those animals with something and making those animals sick that makes us sick when we eat those animals. Knowing damn well none of that shit is naturally occurring in nature. And then when you do enough research, you'll find out that these companies are always experimenting with diseases and viruses and shit that they can inject into animals and humans. They always experimenting with it. It's called gain of functions research and all that shit. You can look it up. They constantly working on some super bug. They constantly in the laboratory with a super bug or a super
A
virus,
virus. Right. Fact.
experimenting with the shit, seeing what they can do with it. You know what I'm saying? And then it ends up in the food supply, and they say, oh, now you can't eat the motherfucking cow, or you can't eat the pig, or you can't eat the goat, or you can't eat these green beans over here, some bullshit like that, knowing that they injecting shit in it. Like that's exactly what they're doing. Like they at total war. Like that's the real war right there. That's the real war. Bombs and bullets ain't shit when they hit us with the GMO food that it causes diseases anyway. That GMO food is not good for our DNA. It's not good for our genetic makeup. It's genetically modified, which means when you eat it as an organic being, it genetically modifies your DNA, which causes autoimmune diseases and shit like that. They are literally chemical, biological warfare, financial warfare, psychological warfare. And with that's the real war. We talking about civil war. See, we only think war when we see war, we think about, you know what I mean, Saving Private Ryan and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We thinking Black Hawk Down and you know what I mean? We thinking a war like that. But the real war, that ain't the real war. That's that right there. That's just blood sacrifice. Those type when they dropping bombs and shooting people and invading countries, that's their version of blood sacrifice. Because they feel like they need the blood sacrifice for power. Because that's how all of the dictators and shit ran they stuff. You need those blood sacrifices because they extract power out of that. of people shedding blood for the causes that they put out there, that they orchestrate. Because it ain't real causes. People dying for shit that's not even real. People's out there dying for an illusion. You go on a war for some shit that all the leaders have to do is sit down and talk about it and come to a proper decision about things, rather than deploying troops and taking over this city and trying to take over that city and shooting it. Like, all that's a bunch of bullshit. All that's just a bunch of blood sacrifice. And at the end of the day, that physical war didn't solve anything. And they ended up having to talk the shit out at the end of the day and come up with peace treaties anyway. Shit that, and it ain't even have nothing to do with the physical aspect of the war. The physical aspect of the war don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. The real war is how they basically scraping away at our liberty, making us more dependent on corporations and banks and digital shit and electronics and all that. They making us more dependent on that. Now artificial intelligence and all, they making us more dependent on that, while they basically taking our liberties away. They giving us convenience at the cost of our liberty.
Yeah, that's always been the cost of for the centuries, bro. They already chop away at our liberties and replace it with convenience. Now they didn't went after all the farms, that's producing, real food, basically taxing them up to kazoo, running them out of business and replacing our whole agriculture system with this laboratory shit. This laboratory gene splicing, uh, reproducing chickens in 2 weeks, fish fish grown in tanks with fed with you know glow in the dark shit.
GMO slop.
Yeah,
They
all
fed
type.
they
Right,
fed
man,
radioactive GMO slop.
radioactive. Right, and they just replaced the whole agriculture system with this whole laboratory scientific uh Frankenstein monster food eating ass, just replacing our shit with just artificial food. Shit, they might as well just give us goddamn toys to eat, because that's basically what people eating is plastic, fake plastic food made out of all these different type of genes, actually human genes mixed in there as well. Human genes mixed in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Right,
not leave
right,
out the human genes mixed in
right.
there with animal genes as well.
And fruits and vegetable
So
genes.
right, so you getting fake fish, fake chicken, 3D printed steaks, meat,
Right.
all type. Yeah, you just getting all. Yeah, they just running rampant with that shit. So yeah, tax the farms that's growing real food. Send a hit squad in there with big black boots on, with
Right.
black uniform, all black uniforms, bust up they shit, make them sell off all they need, or make them destroy their livestock.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, government is regulating farms out of
Out of
family
business,
farms out of business.
straight out of
So
business.
that's the problem. See, that is the food scarcity. They creating the food scarcity so they could come with they little they laboratories and shit,
Yeah,
3D printing all the food up so they can have 100% control over what you eat. And that's
and
what
that's
it's really
right.
about. They
Yeah,
got us scared of farms too. They
yeah,
got us scared of the natural bacteria that comes from farms that actually used to make our immune system strong. Now they telling you it's going to make you sick and you're going to die.
right. They tell you pesticides kills off all the bug. Well, I mean, the bugs and shit is natural to whatever's grown in on that farm. Without I mean, like no bugs on there. You wondering like, all right, well then what the fuck is this that they spraying on this shit that's killing the bugs? 'Cause if it's killing the bugs, then it's killing us as well when we ingesting it. That don't make sense to say, yeah, you got to use this pesticide to basically kill up all the bugs, all the
Right.
pests around the food that's grown. That don't make sense. The pest around the food is letting us know that the food is real. That the food that I mean, it's that's the natural habitat of growing food is you're going to have pests growing, pests around the food and shit like that. It's just how it goes. So they came up with this whole, you got to use this. What's the name of that shit they call it?
What,
Roundup.
Roundup?
Yeah, Roundup.
Roundup.
same people that created Agent Orange during the goddamn Vietnam War when they was spraying all that Agent Orange shit. Monsanto,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they was spraying all that Agent Orange
They spraying that shit.
on all the bushes and shit over there in Vietnam because they said the Vietnamese was hiding in the trees and in the bushes, so they wanted to spray in the weeds and shit. So they
Right.
used Agent Orange to kill it. That's what they claimed they used it for, but really it was an experiment.
Yeah, but then our soldiers came back fucked up off of that as well.
Yeah, the
They
Vietnamese was
sprayed
fucked up
everybody.
off of Agent
Right.
Orange
They
and
sprayed
the
everybody.
and our
Right.
own troops. Yeah,
Our own troops
everybody
came
was
back
fucked,
fucked.
and we
Right.
still getting fucked up by Monsanto through Roundup.
You
And
Roundup, bro.
glyphosate, yeah, the
Yep.
chemicals that they using in Roundup called glyphosate. Yeah, that's been fucking us up. That's why we getting all these weird cancers and all this bullshit. That's why it is important to eat organic because they use less of that shit. Is yeah, I mean, they use That's the thing. You can't use glyphosate or Roundup on property that grows organic food. They at least got that right. They at least got that part right. But the only thing is with that, you still want to get residue because if the farm 10 miles down the road from the organic farm, they still going to get residue from the weed killer that they using at the farm 10 miles from the organic farm because that shit blows in the wind, it gets carried in the rain when it rains. Yeah, I mean, all that shit, and it carries the glyphosate over to the organic farm. So it might not be 100% like drenched contaminated, but it's at least like 10 to 15% contaminated. Being organic, it's still contaminated with that Roundup shit that's been known to give people cancers, all weird type of crazy ass cancers. That glyphosate that's in that Roundup is giving people, and Monsanto got lawsuits up the ass right now. You can look it up. You can chat GPT that shit. Monsanto got lawsuits up the ass for that glyphosate. All these cancer cases has been proved that glyphosate caused it. So that's a problem right there. And that's the shit they spraying on majority of our crops in the United States still. Majority of our crops in the United States and other parts of the world is using it. Some places banned it. Japan banned glyphosate. Russia banned glyphosate. Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of other countries that ban glyphosate. They don't even allow food from the United States because it's contaminated with glyphosate and 1,000 other chemicals that's illegal in other places in the world. So that right there is creating food scarcity. That's creating, so it's not nothing natural that creates food scarcity. Naturally, there's enough food on this planet to feed enough healthy food, nutritional food on this planet to feed everyone. But the governments, along with the corporations, are ruining that because they want total domination over the population. Total domination. And they know they could do that through food supply, through your financial, you know what I mean, and your education. If they could get you through your education by programming you, get you financially by controlling your money, and get you through your tummy by controlling the food supply,
All
they
right.
got you.
So
They got you.
a lot of people is not really accepting this real ID shit too. Is another reason why, because the real ID is connected to how how we use transportation and all that shit as well. So a lot of people really is not feeling signing up to this real ID, this whole real ID shit, because that's giving them total control over what we can do, how we able to fly and shit like that, as well as other things, various things when it comes to financial shit as well. So I mean, so you gotta think about how all this shit is being tied into the military being you know you know uh you know policing our streets at the federal level and shit. How they, because they know a lot of people is not going to sign on to a lot of shit that's happening. Also, it's going to create, this new system was going to create more people being homeless out in the streets. It's going to create more people being homeless out in the streets. It's going to create more. Yes, the crime rate is going to go up, of course, because you know uh, the lack of resources people have. the lack of finances the people have. People's gonna be fighting amongst each other for the scraps. Not only that, it's a chance that they're gonna definitely meet some type of resistance, because you gotta think about, like, throughout history. You gotta think throughout history, as because this basically the same patterns they already been using throughout history with this. They It's always been a resistance when it came to them, implementing something new into law, or some new agenda that they want to push on amongst the people. That they always face resistance from that. So, being as though this new financial system is not only that being attached to a social credit score, there's going to be some turmoil behind that type of system. We know it's going to be a lot of turmoil behind that shit. So, I mean, with Trump saying he want to use the military 100%, because he really they only give you up to what, 30 days to really use the military, until it has to go before Congress again for them to actually sign off on, if it extends past that 30 days. I think it's 30 or 60 days, something like that. But you see the turmoil this shit is already causing already. Like, let's just go through some more of this shit real quick.
There's no sound.
No sound. All right, hold on. Let me do this again. Hold on. Let me put this up back up again. Okay.
Activists memorial event.
And one of the last things he said to me is, please, sir, save Chicago. We're going to do that. We're going to save Chicago from horrible crime.
Then this week at Secretary of War Pete Hegseth's extraordinary meeting of generals, Trump claimed the move necessary to tackle crime.
And I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military, because we're going into Chicago very soon. That's a big city with an incompetent governor, stupid.
Like many US cities, crime has actually fallen significantly in Chicago over the past 3 years. Nevertheless, Trump plans to send at least 300 National Guard troops to patrol these streets, despite objections from City Hall and local officials.
They are escalating violence in the city. This is not making anyone safer. Look at what's going on. These are war zones. These are war zones in neighborhoods that are full of life, full of culture, full of life, full of vibrancy. We love our diversity. This is perpetrated by people that want to go back 100 years ago.
The Democratic governor of the state, J.B. Pritzker, is accusing Trump of manufacturing a crisis.
They need to get out of Chicago if they're not going to focus on the worst of the worst, which is what the president said they were going to do. They need to get the heck out.
But Trump may not get his way. In Oregon, a federal judge has blocked the deployment of 200 National Guard to the city of Portland. This setback could stall troops going into Chicago and other cities, but members of his administration are still confident, with Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem challenging Democrats.
I've encouraged the governor of Oregon and of Illinois, and that attorney general should go down and spend some time with our ICE officers and with our Border Patrol officers and encounter the protesters that they do, because these individuals are shouting hateful things at them, threatening their families, putting their hands on them, and acts of violence are occurring on a regular basis.
Them motherfuckers just sent down there just to agitate the people, bro, because they need this. They want this shit to to keep people occupied with that shit. While they still trillions of dollars from American citizens send money to Israel, continue to send money to other other countries and shit like that. You said there's no audio? There's no audio? Y'all, we good? We good on the audio? We good on sound? All right, cool. All right. Yeah, this just to keep people distracted with the bullshit. This is a 1,000, because why are some ICE agents there? They not doing the duties that they've sent there to do. like well, so-called duties that they were sent there to do. They said he was supposed to go there and you know, get the illegals out and all this dumbass shit. It seems to me they can't determine who is who, because I don't think they were sent there for that. They were sent there to basically distract, agitate the people that's there, keep this fucking distraction going while they continue to
Condition
steal.
people
Yeah,
to be used to seeing them there.
used to seeing military on the streets. It's a whole conditioning process to get us to accept seeing military every fucking single day of our lives. Like, come on, man. Because I mean, if you look at the shit that's happening, they just really there just agitating the situation. They ain't there to help. They ain't no what was they I mean, he said he sent there the military to protect ICE from the citizens coming up against them from doing their job or some shit, like some stupid ass shit they said it they was the reason why he sent the military there. But bro, we know what they activating this military for. 100%. They want to militarize the police 100%, bro. They're turning this shit to a whole goddamn dictatorship. Especially when they implement, God, don't leave out the universal basic income, bro. Because once they
We
implement
ain't
that
get
shit
quite
as
get
well,
there yet. We
yeah,
ain't
we
quite
gonna
get
get
to
there.
that point yet.
They trying to speed it up. They trying to speed it up
They
fast
want
as
to make us
possible.
cashless first because you can't have that type of system with
Not we
cash.
can, right? They want to set it up. So basically, just setting the stage, getting us conditioned. You know what I mean? Conditioning us 100% to accept this shit. Like, I mean, I don't see no other way because I mean, it really no point to have military patrolling the streets just for domestic crimes. That don't make no fucking sense. The same crime been going on, so they not preparing for the crime that's taking place now. What they preparing for is what's to come. That's what they setting the stage for.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Because they
saying?
think ahead. They think ahead.
Facts. They setting the stage for what's to come.
We got a checker mindset.
And we
Like
got, yeah, I was
I
about to
jump
say,
you,
right,
you jump me. I
right,
jump you. But they got the chess mindset. They thinking 3 and 4 steps ahead.
right. And that's how the people should be thinking, 3, 4 steps ahead. But if you got a bunch of citizens that's if you creating these crises and shit, and financial crisis at that, where it's putting a strain on the citizens, they don't even have the mindset to even think like that, to even think outside the box, because they got you so busy, working to keep up, to survive, especially with this high fucking hyper inflation going on. You got people overextending themselves just to make sure, they can meet their, they bills at the end of the month, every month and shit. So if you got people working 2 or 3 jobs, where they have the mindset to even think about, you know, um, playing chess. I mean, making chess moves and shit like that. If your mind is always on work, if your mind is always on, oh, I gotta get these bills paid.
Survival.
Yeah,
Survival mode,
survival.
basically.
Right.
They got us on survival mode and they basically using our survival mode and our scarcity mindset and our fear to control us with it.
Yeah.
While offering us fake convenience. So they offer us fake convenience, but they charge us an arm and a leg for the convenience. Which means you gotta keep working for them to even you gotta keep going back to them to even survive. You know what I'm saying? You can never just separate from them and do your own thing and create generational wealth. All you could do is just keep going back working for them. And they control every aspect of your life because of your for your convenience and your safety. If you give up safety for security, you don't deserve either. That was a famous saying.
Yeah.
And then now the next saying is we giving up our liberty for convenience. Convenience for the cost of liberty. That's crazy right there. Now we sitting there, oh, we need more jobs. The government, please give us more jobs. When if you look back in the day, people wasn't begging the government for no goddamn jobs way back in the day. People had their own crafts that they did. You know what I mean? This motherfucker up here, you know what I mean? He makes shoes. This person down there, he
Right.
make hats.
The bread
Yeah, I
maker.
mean this.
That right.
Yep, this
Person
motherfucker
make
right
bread.
here, he make bread. This person right here, he makes iron. He do iron work and shit. Make cast
Right.
iron pans and swords and shit like that.
Right.
I mean, that's
Masonry
how
work.
they
Right.
didn't beg the government for jobs and shit. You know what I'm
But the
saying?
more
They had
became dependent,
right. This person right here, they grew oranges. This person right there, they grow apples. This person right there raised animals for food. This one raised animals, you know what I mean, for clothing. This one raised and like it's like people was doing their own shit. But now they want us away from that. They want and the thing is people built generational wealth
based
based
off of
off
those
of
skills. Right.
yeah, based off of those skills. So yeah, I mean your family, you give that business to your family. Yeah, that's all they know from seed on up is how the person who how to make shoes and shit. They sons is gonna know how to make shoes. You know what I'm saying? And the women that make dresses and shit, their daughters is gonna know how to make dresses. Like it's like that's just how it was. Now we depending on corporations and fucking government for jobs. People that just look at us as numbers and they give us just enough to where we have to come back to them. Like that's slavery. Like
Yeah,
we ain't got nothing. They don't give us nothing extra. And we
that's
gotta
fucking
beg
insane.
for extra shit. We gotta
That,
beg. You gotta beg your boss. If your
that's
kid is sick at
insanity.
home, you gotta beg your boss if you could take off that day to take care of your kid, or if you sick, you gotta beg your boss. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
It's
boss, I'm
insanity.
sick today. I'm calling
Right.
in sick today. I'm sick,
What's the
boss.
matter, boss? We sick? We
You know what I'm
sick.
saying? Or you gotta beg your boss for vacation and shit, like stuff like that. Like we fucking slaves. Like I don't want to hear nothing else.
What kind?
I don't hear, niggas
Ain't
is
that's what?
slaves. Niggas is slaves in
Ain't that what?
2025.
Ain't that what Ye was saying? Motherfuckers are slaves.
Yeah, niggas is slaves. We enslaved to the banks and corporations and the government. That's who we enslaved to. Cause at the end of the day, they the ones that's ruling everything. The banks, the government, and the corporations, and there ain't nothing else. How can nobody
Say
can't
that
even
again.
dispute this?
What's the trifecta again? The banks, the corporations, what?
Government, yeah, the banks, the government, yeah, the banks and the government and the motherfucking who was the third one?
Corporation,
Exactly.
banks, governments, and the corporations.
There you go. That's who's running everything,
So,
bro.
so that's so
That's who we
we
enslaved to.
so you would say we have three branches of the government, but we also have three shadow branches of the government: the banks, the corporations, and who's the third one again? Banks, corporations, and
And the
the
government.
government. Right.
Yeah. Banks, the corporations, and the government. They've been running shit.
The trifecta.
They running shit globally. Because it's really
Right.
one global government, man. People don't realize that they already merged long ago.
Yeah, they learned. Hell yeah.
Even though they have disagreements and shit, like any other business or any other empire, there's disagreements with inside the empire. But we always been on. We was born into this new world order shit. People always talking about
Right.
this new world order shit's coming.
Nah,
Niggas
it's
been
already been
born
there. We
into.
was
We
born into that.
already everybody on the planet right now have been born into the new world order already. Like they been running
Yup.
shit. It's always been the government, the corporations, and the banks. If you look out through history, all the shit, if you look out all the big things that happened in history, whether it was innovation or big wars or big natural disaster cleanups or viruses, you always see the banks, the governments, and the corporations behind it. Always. It's always been that. Now they're more technological and they trying to lock us down 100%. Because once we all in this digital shit and they got control over everything, because they planning on this part is important. They planning on tokenizing all the assets of the world, land, food, cars, jobs, everything is going to be tokenized and placed into a digital ledger. A digital ledger where every database in the world is connected to it, so they'd be able to sell off and buy assets in seconds based off this digital. So if you owe anything, like if you owe taxes, if you owe liens, and they could take that from you in seconds now. Like it's like they could tax you in real time. They could take the shit that you so-called owe them in real time. That's how they're gonna be able to control everything indefinitely. All this tokenization and crypto and digital assets and all that shit is a scam to have total domination over us. Now, don't get me wrong, that type of system can be utilized in the right hands and benefit us. It can, but in the wrong hands is the worst. Is the worst to have. It's the worst to have them. The niggas that's controlling shit now is worse to have them in control of this system that's coming into place. This digital system should not be in the hands of people who's discontrolling, because they only going to use it to stretch their control to the point where it's going to be hard to reverse it. We're going to have to damn near have a post-apocalyptic event to where everything is destroyed to reverse this shit once they get it into place. Once they get it into place and it'll be in there for at least a generation, it'll be so hard to reverse. Because you got to think about all the skills that the general person have lost over the years due to this technological advancements and due to this so-called convenience. A lot of us don't know how to do shit that our ancestors knew how to do. A lot of us don't know how to grow our own food. A lot of us don't even know how to cook our own fucking food. We depend on microwaves and recipes on the back of a box to even make anything for ourselves to eat. So we damn sure don't even know how to grow the shit.
Bro,
I mean,
we
a lot
going
of us
into
has lost basic skills due to this
and,
so-called
and
convenience.
we going further and further into a technological age where you ain't gonna have to really lift a finger to do shit, because artificial intelligence is taking care of every aspect of your fucking life. Like you
But you're
became
gonna be controlled.
the baby to artificial intelligence, because it's taking
Right.
care of every aspect of your life. You ain't gonna have to lift a finger to do shit. Nothing.
But at what cost?
Yeah, I mean, well, we know it would cost. You giving up total 100% of your liberties or your civil liberties 100%. See, it's not going to be used in the way people think it's going to be used. I mean, it could be used as a tool, for further advancement of, you know, as an individual, but on a global level, using this type of shit on a global level, you even have, people makers of this artificial intelligence warning you about this shit,
Mm-hmm.
telling you how dangerous this artificial intelligence is. So you only can imagine what this planet gonna look like in the next fucking 30, 40, 50 years when our ass is dead and gone. You only can imagine what this shit gonna look like. A whole total different place. They speeding shit up to the point where they
See, in
trying
the
to
next
pull shit.
5 years,
I was about
bro.
to say, hold on. I was about to say that's what I was about to say. They accelerating this shit so fast that they want to get most of this shit up and running by 2030.
Right.
That's why they moving in the way you seeing they moving out of desperation. That's why a lot of the shit that these moves that's being made is a lot of this shit is out of desperation, because they want to have this plan up and running by 2030, possibility 2028 if they could. But once they flip that switch and go online with this whole blockchain shit,
I mean, they already online with it. It's
I
just
mean
that
online,
when it's
yeah,
available to
to the
when
whole
when it's
population,
like the
right,
only option.
right.
When it's the only option, because it's already online already. They just
I don't
haven't
even think they're gonna
rolled
be
it
able to
out
pull that
completely.
shit off. I don't know.
I
Not
mean, they
it,
going to convince people because of the convenience of it. That's how they, just like they got us with the convenience of the internet itself. That is the convenience of the internet. Now
Right.
everybody's on it. Like when the internet first started, they had launched the internet way before everybody else joined it.
Right.
They've been using the internet at least what, like 2 or 3 decades before the rest of the public started picking up on it. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta think about it. They've been running this blockchain shit in the background for a long time now.
Right.
But once they reach a certain threshold and they launch it, like when they everything Web3, ISO 22, and all, once all that shit is fully on, everything's going to accelerate so fast from there because the way the technology is designed, it's a quantum system. So that means it's going to go fast as hell. So that means we're going to go for, that's why 5 years. Yeah, it could be 5 years, bro. Cause they could launch that shit. They could launch that shit this year, at the end of this year or next year, and by 2028 the whole world will look different. By 2030, this shit would be unrecognizable. That's what we
So
trying to tell y'all. That's the thresh. That's where we at right now in society. Like
well, you
we're
know
so close to that.
right. You know they gonna throw it. You know away. You know have incentives for people to get. You know they always have. You
Well,
know
they
they
got
always
the
have
incentives
incentives
now,
to
just
have.
like they
Right.
had the incentives to get us all on social
So
media by offering us money and fame and you know, so we could come on here and get validation because they know most humans are insecure, and they know social media is a place for insecure people because you could basically be whoever you want on there. You can edit your
right.
life the way you want, and they know that most people are vulnerable to that.
Right. They gonna tap
So
it.
they
Right.
use that as a weapon to get us all on here, and they know they breeding a bunch of narcissists and a bunch of shit like that. That's all they breeding on. So social media is a weapon against our minds. It's a psychological warfare.
Gets
That's
our
what
fucking
social media
souls.
is. Like yeah, our mind is directly connected to our
Right.
soul. So it's like that's what it is. It's 100% a weaponized thing that they're doing to us and conditioning us to accept what's coming. In order to get us all on social media, they had to be able to promise, just like the devil always promised you shit. You know, I could give you fame, I could give
Ain't
you
right.
money, I could give you
Promise.
validation,
Promise
I
you the
could make you
world.
beautiful, or you could everybody think you beautiful when you could just post all these pictures up with filters and shit. Knowing you look like shit in reality,
Right.
but you
Facts.
able to be beautiful online. You know what I'm saying? You ugly as shit in person, but you able to be beautiful online.
Make
You're able to be smart online because you could fake. You could
put
do
your
be
ass.
anything
Put your
online. You
ass
could
in
be
the
a
matrix.
philosopher. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
could
like
be
in
all
the
this shit
matrix, nigga.
online.
In the matrix.
But really, they just wanted your ass on here so they could control you 100%. That's the end goal. So they got the incentives are there. The incentives are there for the cashless shit. Everybody's
Yeah.
using PayPal and Venmo and
Venmo.
Cash App
Right.
right now.
Cash App.
So the cashless shit, they conditioned us. They conditioned us for that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're being conditioned for everything right now to accept the world that's coming.
Military on the street.
Yep,
Artificial
military on the
intelligence.
yep,
Artificial intelligent. You know. Law enforcement as well.
hell yeah.
Fast data processing,
Yep.
where they could just scan your motherfucking ass and all your information pop up.
Well, they could do that now through
But they. But
your cell
yeah.
phone
But
data.
so they like, okay, well, let's just make the processor faster, where we could just get all the all that shit just in a matter of seconds. In a matter of seconds. Trade in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, they weaponizing
Transfer in a
social
matter
media
of
shit. And look what
seconds.
the social media is doing to the kids' minds.
It's creating it's creating that
Narcissists.
the yeah, pretty
It's
much.
creating a narcissistic society that's emotionless, burnt out dopamine centers. You know what I mean? You gotta think about the type of weapon that social media has become, and it's also, and it's some, of course, there's some good aspects, because it's good aspects to everything, and there's bad aspects to everything. So you gotta think about it. There's some good aspects to social media, like being able to enterprise on here, to be able to spread real, true information, all that type of stuff's good on here. But then there's the side of it to where it's creating these certain mindsets that people had that they would have never had if they was never on social media, and it's doing it in high numbers to the point where it's collapsing society.
Right.
It's literally collapsing society. Social media, and it's crazy. It's called social media, but most people are lonely. You could have 10 million Facebook uh followers and shit
Yep,
and
and
still
not
be
one.
lonely.
Yep, not one friend in real life. Facts.
Facts. Like
So
you
it's create
lonely as hell with 10 million followers, 10 million
facts,
subscribers.
bro.
Lonely as hell.
When you hear about motherfuckers having 4 million followers, broke as shit. You know what I'm saying? You got all these fucking followers, and they ain't making a dime off that shit. So you just got the fame and not the money, and that's what this climate created, where people want the fame even over the fucking money.
But what about the people who got the fame and the money, but their life is still shit because they're enslaved to social media?
Right.
Because there's certain expectations you have to live up to.
Facts.
Especially if you created your persona around something that's not really you. You really fuck.
Exactly. Facts.
Sometimes you could be worse off than the person who ain't got nothing.
That's facts. Cause you got to keep up
Like,
that same appearance
yeah. That's weaponization, bro. That's like people
to
don't
even.
understand how advanced this shit is. Like they love to make us think that, war and stuff is just bombs and bullets, but if you really think about the psychological warfare is even worse
For
than
your
that, bro.
mind. Right. It's war in your mind.
Because you don't even know that there's a war against you. Those are the most effective wars right there. The wars that you don't even know that's being waged against you.
Right.
That's being covertly waged it. And you looking at it like it's something that, oh, it's trendy, or oh, this is just part of life now. Not realizing it's being weaponized against you.
Right.
Like we got access. This is a time on a planet where we got access to everybody so much that we're lonely.
Right.
How the fuck are we still lonely? Like it's crazy. Like most people can't even hold conversations anymore.
Facts.
Everybody's burnt out from texting. Like the texting shit, that shit don't even make any sense. All we do is fucking text each other. Most people don't even pick up the phone anymore, but they text you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you don't even like the
You ever see
communication
a
is
yeah?
really bad.
Bro. It's bad where you interact with somebody online and see them in real life and had no interaction with them. That's some crazy shit, bro.
That
You'll
too.
see a motherfucker walk right past you, but you interacting with him on social media. That's some crazy shit. And you know what? Most people don't even, interact with their neighbors and shit like that. Like most people don't even
Nope.
like they completely separated society completely. Like that whole thing where you knew everybody in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Where you congregated with everybody in the neighborhood. That shit is long gone, bro. You don't even know who the fuck your neighbor is. That's how much this shit you know, basically took over society, but to the point where you don't even know who your fucking neighbor is, bro.
In the 80s and 90s, everybody on the block knew each other.
Everybody was on the block. We had block parties and shit like that.
Everybody
Everybody
knew
was out there.
everybody knew each other.
Right,
Family, you knew who house the person your kids was
right,
over.
right,
Kids won't come in until late and shit. You know who house they over.
right.
Everybody know each other phone number. Yeah, that shit's done. Those days are
That's what
done, bro.
them days is over with.
All that shit's been replaced by Facebook and Instagram and
Yeah.
fucking TikTok and yeah, all that shit. Yeah, it's a done deal out here. They
So
weaponize the hell out of
so
social media,
so
bro.
you're able to eat so basically society is easily controlled that way where people don't have those type of interactions with each other.
They're
Now
modifying us.
yeah, basically modified, you consolidated everything and pushed it online. Now everyone is easily controlled that way because I mean, you could basically be watched 24 fucking 7. It was harder for them to pull this shit off without social media, bro. If they didn't have, they wouldn't even be able to pull off most of the shit they pull off without social media. Not only that, they have access to our data, to our fucking data. So they able to mold and shape the shit the way they want it based off the fucking information that they gathered from pushing everybody online. It was hard for them to do that shit without that type of grid being set up. And then we talking globally. This some global shit. This a global whole fucking global takeover. So yeah, this
The way we interact with each other as humans in 2025 is so artificial now.
well, I mean
They
it's
modified
artificial
our
intelligence.
behavior to the point. Yeah, they modified our behavior to the point that we're all socially awkward off of the internet. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? It's like most people these days are social, like especially the younger generation. But I realize the older generation is being influenced by the younger generation. But people are so socially awkward now, um, and it's because of the social media. It modified the way that humans interact with each other, and it's such a synthetic way now, like texting and through screens and shit like that.
Right.
Humans aren't supposed to interact like that. Like that could be a secondary way we interact, but it became our primary way to interact now, and that really did some damage to us, so we don't realize it as a civilization. Like the people, the millennials and shit should be recognizing it, because we watched the transition. We watched the transition from the you know how things was in the 80s and up to the 80s and 90s to how things was up to the mid 2000s. Like we seen that transition. So
BI
we should we
BI
the ones
AI.
that's supposed to be conscious. Like the millennials, we the ones that's supposed to be conscious of this shit and hop on it and be telling everybody like, yo, the direction we going, they effing us up psychologically because we're not supposed to be interacting like this as humans through screens all day. Like
Oh,
that
we
shit is
felt real
mad
shit.
unhealthy, bro.
Right.
The texting, the shit. And then I'm seeing people is going through the stuff with people ghosting them. Like even the ghosting thing, that even does something
Right.
with people mentally. Like just to ghost somebody, like you could be cool with somebody on the internet for a month or so. Next thing you know, they ghost your ghost. You know what I mean? Like basically you're dead to them. They ghost you on everything. Like that's psychological damage. Like that
Before
type of
internet,
psychological,
after
like
internet, right?
yeah, before the internet,
BI
after the
AI.
internet. Like we're not
BI
understanding the type of
AI.
psychological damage that's going on with us right now, especially the young kids too, because the future generations is really going to be effed up. They already socially awkward now. Like if you I've like just walk around in public and just look at everybody head in their phones. People crossing big busy streets with they not even looking up to see if a car is
Driving.
coming.
Driving with their
Then
head
they
in their
got their
phone.
head in their phone. Motherfuckers driving on bikes on a busy road, not even looking up at the street, but on their phone with their head down riding a bike. Motherfuckers
Socially
driving
awkward.
their cars, not even looking at the road at all, and having a full-fledged texting conversation on a screen, bro. Like we're effed up in this world. The story of the girl that fucking fell down a storm drain because
Right.
she ain't realized that the storm drain was open because she was walking and looking at her damn phone and ain't even look up to see what was in front of her. Like just shit like that. Like we're so socially awkward right now. Back in the day, people used to, hold eye contact, talk with each other, even if you were strangers. Now, everybody just sit there in the pace of public with their heads in their phones, looking like zombies. And we all do it. Everybody does it.
Everybody. Yeah, we
And the
all
shit is
subject to that
socially
shit.
awkward. The shit is actually like we don't realize the psychological warfare that's happening to us because human interaction is very important in a world like this. Everything is about the interaction between humans. You know what I'm saying? And they modified that through this social media shit. Now it's to the point where it's an unhealthy relationship. We got an unhealthy relationship with reality right now because of these goddamn screens. I'm just gonna
Yep.
call it what it is. They
Hmm.
got us on that front.
Hell yeah.
They got us, y'all. We're screwed now. Like our brain chemistry is all jacked up.
And you gotta think about, you know, also the waves that, that all this fucking wave energy through all this technology we using. These phones and these laptops. Like you think that shit ain't really scrambling with our motherfucking with our mindset, interfering with our thinking, interfering with our you know, uh, just the way we process things and shit like that. just using these different waveforms is even interfering with that. Because you think about it, everything we think, everything of how we think and how we do is everything is in the waveform. So you got to think about how this shit is interfering with that. Looking at these screens all day in this wave energy that's being used to occupy these fucking devices.
Well, like EMF and the
Yeah,
Wi-Fi and all
yeah,
that
it's
shit, the
interfering with
radiation and shit that's
it's
coming off of
interfering
that.
with that.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all
fucking up our
interfering.
central nervous system.
Yeah, it's interfering with our waveform and shit. So with the frequency and everything, it's interfering with that. That's why you see, the behavior that's taking place on social media is wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. The dopamine hits, just the way how this shit, and all this shit is done by design anyway. So,
Yeah, it's warfare. It's
you know what I mean?
psychological warfare. And the thing is, like you was talking about the different waves and shit, the EMF and the Wi-Fi signals, the cell phone tie, all that shit, right? All the electronics and everything is fucking up our central nervous system. That's why you sometimes you gotta go in nature to reset. You gotta go in nature without nothing, no phone, none of that shit. Go into like place and reset your energy because our central nervous system is tied directly into the planet through the electromagnetic field in the planet. Our central nervous system is tied into that. What disrupts that is all this technology, all the cell phone towers and fucking Wi-Fi signals and all that. It disrupts all of that. That's why a lot of us have severe anxiety, headaches, severe anxiety. All that shit is tied to all these EMF waves and all this shit that's going on. These frequencies that's coming from the internets and the cell phones and all that and all the other devices and shit that we got. It's literally screwing with our whole genetic
Waveforms.
makeup.
Oh, hell yeah.
Shout out to Kayla Nicole. She said, my dad is in his 50s and he always told me, get to know your neighbors. Nowadays, people look at you crazy if you come to chat with them. They rather chat with you through the Rain Camera app. Hell yeah.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Right.
That's part of the whole warfare. That's the psychological warfare right there. You
Right.
not knowing your neighbors and everybody talking to each other through some type of screen.
Some type of
Rather
device.
cell phone screen, laptop screen, a Rain camera. Yeah, it's always something in between you and the human that you're interacting with. That's dangerous. That's not how we were designed to
Right.
communicate.
Right.
Like this is crippling us in a lot of ways that we don't even realize.
Exactly. But the dean said the data centers are going to be a big issue. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we screwed, y'all. This social media shit is and they not only using it for that to cripple our how we interact with each other. They also using it, like we said, to control us with everything, our day-to-day everything, our day-to-day operation that it take to live on this planet. They're gonna be controlling it through a button. They can just turn all your shit off whenever they feel like it. And just think about all the shit that you do on a daily, that through apps on your phones and shit. Like you do everything through that. You pay for your bills on the apps. You shop through your apps. Everything is through the apps. And just think, they have control over all of that shit. You bank with your money. Your money is an app. You know what I mean? How you bank. Everything is an app now. Everything is
Yeah,
through a
that's the
digital
thing.
screen.
Yeah, that's a dangerous way to live in society where
Yeah,
you
one
have that
button and
much
you're done.
control, where they able to have that much control over your
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 life.
day-to-day life. That's not a good society to live in.
You start
It's
in your
more
car with an app.
that
You
shit
open it up your
bro,
house door with an app.
that shit's gonna cause more chaos, tell you the truth. That shit's gonna cause more chaos.
Facts.
Because you just think about what type of outcome it'll be you know, a system like that being set up and they cut all your shit off. And you gotta realize how these processes work. They can do that shit to millions of people at one fucking time. So you know what type of crisis that gonna create? You know
Look
what
what
type
they
of
doing
chaos?
to us,
That
bro.
shit's gonna be chaotic, bro. That shit is gonna be chaotic.
Look what they doing to us, bro. Smartphones, smart houses, smart water. Nigga, it's a brand of chicken out there called Smart Chicken, my nigga. You got everything smart, but the human is dumb at the end of the day.
Right.
All this smart shit around it. Smartphones, smart
That shit
fucking
got some type of
house, smart car,
nanotechnology in it.
smart water, smart chicken with a dumbass human.
Okay, said
You know
I'm
what I'm
old
saying?
school. I love interaction with my community, especially my elders. Put it right. Yeah, that the day of that shit is long gone. The day of that shit is long gone. Some of us is from BI. So we before internet, we has got to see the transition happen. You know, before social media and after social media, we got to see this shit. So you can imagine what the future generations ahead gotta look forward to. All they know is this shit. All they know is devices and interaction through social media. So you gotta realize there's gonna be a whole population of that shit, bro. A whole population of people that just grew up with devices in their face 24/7.
Right.
See, we knew what it was like to be outside. Yeah, I mean, no devices and none of this shit, just being out and
Being amongst your peers
being
and just
amongst your
chilling
peers,
and
right?
shit without
th-
fucking interference from screens all day.
Right. So you gotta realize the generation ahead is that shit gonna be even more crucial with them.
And screens, all it does is screening. Is filtering out your natural self.
Right.
That's all it's doing is filtering out your net. That's what screens do. It filters things out, keeps things out, and keep things in. So you gotta think about it. We being screwed, man. We artificially being screwed with. Psychologically, we being screwed with. And it's like people ain't noticing it because especially the kids that's born in it. But right now, like I said earlier in the stream, the millennials are the ones who have to take charge of this shit. The niggas that grew up in the 80s and 90s and shit, and they seen the transition from no cell phones and no devices to cell phones and all these devices we got now.
Right.
Like
Really, all,
we're the bridge between two worlds.
yeah. All you could do is leave behind that 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 knowledge that we had previous to the social media, to the internet.
Mhm.
All you could do is lead them the knowledge. I mean, a lot of them is not gonna retain that shit, but for the ones that do, it's gonna be the ones that actually gonna reserve that way that way of thinking and that way of life moving forward. Kind of like Will Smith and the I Robot
I
and shit.
Robot.
Yeah, remember he still was able to hold on to some of the old traditions when everybody else was
Mhm.
moving along in technology. He was still able to hold on to the old way of thinking, the old way of life and shit prior to when artificial intelligence took over 100%. So you still gonna have that line of people that's still gonna retain that information and to move
Right.
forward with it, but it's gonna be a small amount. It's gonna be a small amount.
See, psychologically, that movie was targeted millennials.
Yeah, it was.
I Robot because Will Smith represents us, the
Yeah,
millennials.
facts.
He
Yup,
represents because we was at a time, right before all of this shit took over, all of
yup.
the devices and the artificial intelligence and the social media and the streaming 24/7. we knew how it was before all of that, and we know how it is while all that shit's going on. But you see how it's sort of like psychological warfare with that movie, because at the end he just accepted it. Yeah, I'm saying he
And,
just
that, and
said,
that's
"Fuck it, I love Sonny now."
and isn't that what we did? We ain't that what we
Right.
did? We accepted this shit.
Well, that movie was psychological conditioning right there, to condition the millennials, because they knew millennials is the ones who would stand up to this tyranny that's coming. That they know, because we lived through an era before that, and we're living in the era now, so we would be the perfect ones to because we the ones that's standing in between the two worlds, y'all. That's very, and I know a lot of our viewers are millennials too, so
Right.
um. And we seen this transition, like when they started adding the cell phones and shit. You remember they just had the regular Nokia type Johns, and then they came out with the flip Johns and
Yeah.
Blackberries, and that went up to the, you know what I mean? It just kept progressing and progressing, and then, you know what I mean, all the different
Can't
types of devices and shit. And yup. Yeah, we seen the progression, then the
and it,
social media progression, went from like
right.
MySpace and shit to Facebook to
Yeah.
Instagram
You
to, you know what
notice
I'm
that's
saying?
when they start putting cameras and shit on the phones. When
And
all that the
microphones.
microphones. That's when they see, you know how you see how this shit then lined up.
Yeah.
All this shit was lined up when social media was a popping thing. When it would start popping off, that's when they started adding camera phones and shit, because they knew people was gonna
Hmm.
be going live streaming from their phones and shit like that. So like you
Right.
said, they got the chess mindset. We are the population, and we the ones thinking fucking checkers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't really doing your research and seeing where this shit is going, so you can be ahead of it, and it's some things is inevitable, and some things is gonna happen regardless, whether you for it or against it. It's gonna happen regardless. So you got to think about how you fit in the in how you fit in this
In the big picture.
in the picture of things. Yeah, my bad, y'all. I was actually looking up something real quick while I was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we in a position right now where things could speed up so fast to where the world just will not be the same, y'all. Like, we're so close to that, and once they launch this artificial intelligence to basically manage everything, and then we're all in these little databases and shit that they know and then that's attached to a digital ID, that's going to change the world 100%. Like, we don't realize how much of an impact that's going to be. I mean, just think about how much the world changed. For those of y'all, for those of y'all millennials who's been paying attention, just look at how the world changed from the early 2000s, like 2001, 1999, 2000, 2001, till now. Look at all the changes just in those
right.
2 decades.
You can even go further than that and look at the changes that happened after fucking COVID happened.
Right.
Just the changes that happened after COVID. That really did a number on society when that shit happened, bro. When that COVID shit happened, and had the fucking world was all locked down. It had people was forced into their homes and shit like that, and that whole process of how people dealt with that shit when it hit, even down to how people was dealing with, you know, with shit being like even the toilet paper situation and shit like that. Like it's how
Yeah.
people you see how people was like in panic mode when certain shit happened. All that shit was an experiment. That was all a test and experiment to get us to react to how things that happen when crisis and shit like that happen. They wanted to see how people was gonna react to it.
And let's be real, bro. If the news never said there was a COVID, nobody would have never noticed. People would
Nope.
have just said, "Oh, that was a bad flu season."
Right.
That's what people would have called it if the news never announced no fucking COVID. Because we've had bad flu seasons like that before, and it wasn't no COVID. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no COVID to shut everything. And when I say wasn't no COVID, which I mean that they didn't shut the whole world down. Because if they never made a big deal out of it with the governments and the media and all the news and shit, most people wouldn't even have paid attention to it. At most, people would have just said that was a bad flu season. And that's the real
right.
deal. That's the real deal, because there's been times in the past where I've gotten real sick. I thought it could have been something like COVID before COVID even existed. Well, it existed, but before they started making a big deal out of it. And you could have said I had COVID then, and that was way before the official COVID shit happened. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do it like, and I've seen plenty of people around me get real bad cases of the flu, and it's just like the COVID shit. But they didn't shut the whole world down because of it.
Yeah, so
That
that
was the
right. That was all.
propaganda right there, shutting the whole world down and making everybody believe it was bigger than what it was. Same thing they did with the Spanish flu. They shut the world. See, that's another thing. They use the same tactics over and over again. Rather niggas want to believe it or not, you can go back in history and look at the same shit that they did during the Spanish flu. They shut the world down, had everybody masked up. They did the same shit then. And right after the Spanish flu, what happened? They bought in a new money system.
Exactly.
They signed in a new money system right after that. That's when the Federal Reserve Bank and all that shit came into place. These central banks came into place, into power. Right after the Spanish flu and all that shit. They always do that. They do an economic collapse, they do a virus, then they change the money system up, and then we have some type of technological advancement. Then it was the Industrial Revolution. So we had the Depression, we had the Spanish flu, we had the Great Depression, you know what I mean? And then they bought into the Industrial Revolution in the banks.
Right.
And they doing the same shit now. We going through the economic collapse. We had the COVID shit. You know what I mean? And they about to expand on the technology, and they about to change the money system up. It's the same shit. The banks are going to become digital now. 100% digital. Stable coins, digital money. The new technology, the next industrial revolution is artificial intelligence and Web3 and blockchain.
Blockchain. Yeah.
That's the next industrial revolution. So they do the same fucking pattern over and over and over and over and over again. It's like an equation you could put in. You know what I'm saying? Spanish flu, COVID. You know what I'm saying? Federal Reserve banking, digital banking, and stable coins.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Federal
COVID.
Reserve Act, Genius Act.
Yep. Federal Reserve Act, Genius Act. Yep. Then Industrial Revolution. As far as trains and train tracks and the way corporations set up they motherfucking factories and everything.
Autonomous now.
Yep. Now it's blockchain and cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence. Like, it's an equation. Like, they do the same shit.
Facts.
Oh, I forgot about the war part too. I forgot about the war. Then it was World War I and World War II.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was during that time, the Spanish flu, World War I, World War II, Federal Reserve Act, Industrial Revolution, steam engines and fucking factories.
Right.
Now it's COVID, war with Russia, Ukraine, Palestine, and fucking Israel. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And COVID, and then
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Genius
Industrial
Act.
Revolution with blockchain and Web3. Like, it's the same. Look, listen, y'all. They going to just keep doing the same shit, y'all. He's going to keep doing the same thing. History repeats itself because it's the same rulers taking shit out the same handbook that they've been using for centuries. They got a handbook that they use.
Yeah, you can see the same. You can see the exact same pattern. That's why I said when I looked at the Civil War that happened that the last civil war we had in this country, and I'm looking at the, now even though it's more advanced now because of technology, but it's the same pattern. I'm looking at the same pattern.
Mm-hmm.
They send the military, uh,
Mm-hmm.
occupy the streets. Same thing they did during the first Civil War. And they sent in the motherfucking red coats. You can see the goddamn red coats come in. With now you fast forward, we see in military on the streets of America. And and it's
Well, the
like,
Revolutionary War wasn't a civil war, though. That was
no,
Britain
I mean,
versus
yeah,
America,
my bad, yeah, yeah,
so-called.
I meant the South versus
Yeah.
the South versus the North. My bad. And you seen them motherfuckers come in, and now we see a military on the streets like we never seen before. Like we never really seen military occupying the American streets like that. The most we seen was
Not
like the
really. Not.
National Guards come in when riots and shit happen like that. But we never really seen just you coming out your door and you got military standing on your corner with AR-15s and a tank or a fucking
And
Hummer.
snatching people up.
Yeah, or snatching people up. Yeah, we never seen it in this capacity. So you got to think about what's happening that's creating this climate right now. What agenda that they pushing on America that now when we walk out our doors, we see motherfucking military on the street.
That's something else.
You know what I'm saying?
That means something big is coming. Something big is coming. We telling y'all what it is. It's the financial collapse. Like this Great Depression is going to be different than the Great Depression of the past.
Yeah, because this is actually tied to a global depression.
We screwed.
And you gotta think about when Trump was doing taxing China with the terrorists and all that shit. And you gotta think about like, all right, this country is 30-something trillion dollars in debt. And the simple fact that
Even
he's
sound real.
right, that shit don't
That
sound
shit
real.
sounds made up.
Right. 37 trillion, $38 trillion in fucking debt.
That shit sound made up, y'all. Once you start hitting numbers like the trillions and shit like that, yeah, it's not even real. It's an illusion at that point. It is. We that far in the game that we allow the numbers to hit those types of numbers, trillions. We talking about trillions. We talking about motherfuckers being billionaires and we talking about trillions and all this type of stuff.
Billionaires and trillionaires and
You know what I
shit.
mean? That goes to show you how like you don't feel like y'all don't feel the fakeness of that.
That's all
That
an illusion.
artificial ass shit. Trillions.
Yeah, that's all.
Billionaire. A
Yeah,
trillionaire.
that shit don't make sense.
That
Because
if
after a
that if
while, you just
somebody's a billionaire, a trillionaire, then they just got access to
yeah,
everything.
that's what I was about to say. You just got access to shit. Really,
Right,
it ain't really no. You can't really put a money value on no shit like that. It's just
right.
that you just got the keys to all the fucking doors. Got the keys to the doors, basically.
That's all that means. You got access to everything. And that America been living like that for decades now. Since the dollar became the world reserve currency.
Yep.
And basically the world America became the global dictator, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it don't make no
All
sense
the
to
countries that we
have a hundred.
occupy.
Right. It don't make no sense having over 170 something fucking embassies in different countries and shit. That don't make sense. They say it was just to protect the citizens that live there. No, the fuck it ain't. No, it ain't.
They there to meddle in the business of those
Matter
countries
on the
to make sure
business
they
and
ain't going
affairs.
against the central banks that's placed there.
Right.
That's what it really, at the end of the day, that's what it's really about.
Protecting the special interests.
Yep.
It's a permanent shift. Yeah, hell yeah, it's a big shift that's happening. That's why this Trump got military in place. That's why Trump got
Ahead
military
of
in place.
time.
You
And
gotta
it don't
think
matter
about
who
it.
comes in next.
Yeah,
They don't matter. They just used what Trump left over and say
that's
they're
it.
using it for a different cause now.
Right. Facts.
That's why we tell them it ain't no matter if it's left or right. It don't matter if it's Democrat, Republican. They use both sides of the parties. They use both parties to accomplish one goal. They just have us divided about the shit. But really they in cahoots together. The one come in and they set the stage for the next person that's gonna come in. And so on and so on and so on.
That's it.
One party goes in there to zig while the other one comes in there to zag, and they keep zigging and zagging and zigging and zagging till they get to their agenda. And they have zig fighting against the zag. They have one side is the zig and one side is the zag. But both sides, zig and the zag, is really just one side. That's how they getting us. You got you arguing about the shit that the Democrats did and the Republicans is mad about what the Democrats did, and Democrats is mad about what the Republicans did. Yeah, they both did something wrong, but they did it for their global masters, the ones who owns all the corporations and the banks, the old families that's been running this shit for years, the 1%, the oligarchs. The left and the right work for them, not for you.
Exactly.
Niggas swear they just as delusional as people be like, yeah, my team is in the Super Bowl. Just as delusional, just like you ain't you're not winning the money or the title with them. You know what I'm saying? It's just as delusional. Same thing with, yeah, my president is in there. My political party's in there. They don't give a shit about you.
They don't even know you exist.
They don't give two shits
Yeah,
about
that shit.
you.
Yeah, that's like that
They,
shit don't
like you
make
said, they
sense.
don't even know they don't even know you exist. You just another number. You just another number to them. They don't care about you.
And they got the population separated at every aspect, bro. Like it's just like every aspect, motherfuckers is separated on all fronts. Whether it's religion, sexes, fucking politics, sports, goddamn
Diet.
diet, right? Like it's just a goddamn separation on all fucking fronts. I mean, we play into that shit every day. Like every day, motherfuckers play on that and play into that game every fucking day and don't realize what's happening. They don't realize they being conditioned and to be, to be, pushed into these small fucking groups to be controlled. People don't realize that shit. They don't realize that. That's why I don't fuck with them labels, bro. I don't fuck with them labels at all. All them labels, you gotta be labeled this or labeled that to get to go on in society and shit to be accepted. I don't give a fuck about being accepted by society. Not I mean at all. I don't want to be labeled as shit to be accepted by society. I can give two shits about that. Cause I know it's a game. And I don't want to be playing I don't want to play into that shit. Hell nah.
Why do we
I
usually add labels to shit so we can buy and sell it?
can buy and sell shit.
And
And
that's
that's
all.
what they
That's so you
right,
put a label on yourself, you just being bought and sold.
right,
Cause they know all the ingredients that go into your label. What are you? You're a leftist, a liberal. They know the ingredients that go into that. You know
right.
what I mean? You love abortion, you love LGBTQ. You like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
What label are you? Oh, you're Republican. Oh, you love Trump. You know what I mean? You love all the shit. You love the fact how his views on certain things. Like they know the ingredients to that shit. So you're bought and sold
Bought and sold and paid
and
for
controlled.
and
You're
controlled.
able to be marketed. You know what I mean? So they know everything about you. You're a demographic that they can put their finger on. And they say, oh, this is how they gonna react if we do this. This is what they gonna say if we do this. So they know exactly how to control and manipulate you because based off your label. So if you a motherfucker that ain't labeled at all, and you moving to the beat of your own drum, you can't be controlled.
Nah.
You can't be controlled. They love when we give ourselves these labels and shit. I'm a Muslim. I'm a Christian. I'm a Buddhist. I'm a Jew. I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat. I'm this. I'm that. All that shit got ingredients that they control and manipulate, and those labels they know exactly how to trigger you.
You know how I look at that shit, bro? Is having you basically when you born into this shit, it's like picking apps for your phone and shit. Just think about how you pick at like you have a phone, you start downloading apps to that motherfucker. You born into this shit. You might download being a Christian. You're gonna down. Just think about how the Matrix. You have to download these fucking programs into our subconscious. Oh yeah, when you come
Oh,
onto this
that's what
planet,
they are.
you got to download. I'm gonna download the Christian app, or I'm gonna download the Muslim app, or I'm gonna download the vegan app, or meat eater app, or I'm gonna download the straight
Meat
app,
eater app.
or I'm gonna download the gay app, or it's like all you come into this life just picking and you know what I mean.
I
It's
mean that
basically all this shit is
application
already
just
the
means how
system is
you
already
apply
right.
something.
The system is already set up for you to come here and just pick what the fuck you want to. You know what I mean, what you gonna be? Oh, I'm gonna be a doctor in society. Or I'm gonna be a lawyer in society. Oh, I'm gonna be a musician in society. It's like all these fucking apps set up for you to just come here and just pick what you gonna be. That's how I look at this shit. It's no different from your motherfucking cell phone. And the thing is, your cell phone is your fucking part of your personality. That's
Yeah, like
attached to your
all the
fucking stuff.
information is
Yeah, that shit is attached to your
connected.
conscious. Your cell
And
phone is attached to your consciousness. They talking about the mark of the beast. Nah, the mark of the beast is the cell phone, cell phone chip that's in your goddamn hand. And what we doing on these apps? Buying and selling on these motherfuckers, ain't we?
And you gotta think about it, it's all the information is the same. It's about how you apply it, right? That's what
Yeah,
it is. And information equals data, and then applying it means an application. How you
right.
applying something. So all the information that's in the world, in the Akashic records and everything, is all connected to one source. It's just how you apply it through your apps. So basically, we warn over applications. Like my
It's
app is
warm.
better than yours.
Yeah,
Your
right.
app, your app
Yeah,
ain't
that
as superior as mine. I got the best apps. Yeah, but it's all about how you apply the shit.
this shit. Yeah, it. And then when you get caught up in
Information
that
and
type of
data.
fucking game, you easily control when you get caught up in that type of fucking game. The
Well, those
point is
applications got rules to them
exactly. Exactly. Them
in
application
terms of
has
services.
policies, terms of services,
Yeah,
guidelines and policies and shit. Hell yeah.
yeah. Each app has that. But those apps, what they do, they hack your shit. Because you putting all your personal information in those
Heck this shit.
apps. Yeah, you
Yeah,
being
our
controlled.
phone.
We're no
Yeah, our
different.
right. Our phone is
No
attached to
different
our
than a phone.
motherfucking. Yeah, our phone is attached to our motherfucking conscious. Because you can't even go without your goddamn phone. Losing your phone is like losing your motherfucking your whole mind. You lose. Just think about when you lose your phone, you lose your mind, don't you? When a motherfucker lose they can't find their phone, they lose their mind, bro.
That's how they cloned
So
us.
yeah,
We're
yeah. So
cloned through these
your
phones. These
yeah,
phones are clones of us.
your phone is attached to your motherfucking mental. Because I'm telling you, you lose your mind when you lose your phone. Everything is in your goddamn phone. Your everything is in your damn phone. I don't even think you can be like like the way society is right now, you can't even go without your motherfucking cell phone. Just think about that. Just the way society set up, you can't even go without your cell phone, bro.
That's sad too.
Yeah, like they got us already. We already locked. They already got us locked into this shit,
That's
bro.
the chip, though. That's the chip. I ain't taking no marketing beat. You see all these motherfuckers. I ain't accepting no marketing beats with a phone glued to their pocket with all the information in there, and they running their whole life out of the phone. If you think that's what the marketing beast is, that chip, the phone itself is the chip. It's already glued to your fucking hand. It's already glued to your mind. They accepted the chip in their minds and in their hands. You already living in revelations. You already said you think that the mark of the beast and all this shit is the chip that they want to implant in your body. They don't need to implant the chip in your body. It's all in your phone. Use your phone to open up your car door. Use your phone to open up your house. Use your phone to pay your bills. Use your phone to get groceries. Use your phone to get information. Use your phone for work, for employment. Use your phone for your banking. So yeah, niggas lose their phone, you lose your mind. You're right.
You lose your phone, you lose your mind, bro. Because our phones is attached to our fucking minds. It is. Even how we communicate, everything we communicate through fucking apps. That you know what I mean? We communicate through these devices that's attached to our mind. So that's you lose your phone, you lose your mind. You know what I mean? Yo, let me see. I was trying to see something real quick. All right. All right, shit. We about to conclude this live stream, y'all. We've been on this, y'all. I mean, 2 hours. How many we on this, y'all? A little over
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yep. Yo, if y'all haven't already, man, make sure y'all, you know what I mean, share this video, like
Share
this
this
video,
video.
subscribe
Fact.
if you haven't already, and check out our night and day herbal shop. We
Yeah,
sell
make sure
natural CBD hair products, skincare products. We
you
got
check out our
detoxes on
website.
there.
Pull this
I mean, you
website
see the
up.
QR code on the screen. You could just scan that with your phone if you want, or you could just click on the link we got pinned to the top of the chat or in the description box. We got discounts going on right now. Spend $50 or more, get 40% off on our CBD products. We got CBD gummies, CBD vapes, CBD cigarettes, pre-rolls, all organic. We got hair care, skincare products. We got detoxes on there. We got wild sea moss on there. So make sure y'all stop at
Yeah, come on.
nightandayherbals.com.
Yeah, for
And
y'all that
definitely,
yeah,
my
definitely
bad, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say definitely get the CBD smokes. I know a lot of people be looking for a way to, stop smoking that motherfucking tobacco and all that. I mean, CBD is more medicinal anyway, so you dealing with any type of insomnia, you need something to relax or anything. There's definitely a lot of people reported that our CBD smokes help them stop smoking cigarettes, help them stop smoking regular cigarettes and shit. So definitely check us out. We got the loose flowers on here. We have the vapes on here as well. So definitely come over here and order from us. We got the edible gummies on here, which is good. Definitely work for pain and sleep and relaxation. We made it right along with our other products on here, man. We got the detox drinks on here. The you know the the berry splash, the sea moss on here as well. So get your health together, man. Come over here, shop with us, get your health together.
That's
For your skin, we got stuff
nightandayherbals.com.
right. The link is in the description of this video and pinned to the top of the chat. And on that note, man, we're gonna catch y'all on the next one. Matter of fact, I think I do got another John set up. Oh, make sure y'all let me drop the link to the night and day channel. I see you got something on Premiere on here too.
Right.
We dropped the link for that real quick. Make sure y'all head over to Night and Day Network LLC. Got a premiere lined up for 444. 444. We dropped the link for that real quick. Make sure y'all go over there and turn on y'all notifications and subscribe. All right, let me drop this link. Drop this link real quick to that premiere right there.
Head over there. Yup. Check that out. We got some shit going down, y'all. They arrested motherfuckers for posting on social media. So you gotta watch what you say on social media. You can't get arrested.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? And then you got RFK. I guess he realized the Trump administration ain't what he thought it was after he seen him hanging out with Bill Gates and shit. And RFK don't F with Bill Gates.
Right.
And you know, Billy Boy Gates was tied to Epstein too.
Hell
and
yeah.
then you see him sitting at the table with Trump, and Trump tied to Epstein. So yeah, there's some corruption going on at the top, man. Motherfuckers thought Trump was somebody that was gonna come in and help.
Shit.
I don't know what the fuck niggas thought. I hope y'all know
Because
that
they thought they was gonna be a
he's a
savior and
company
shit.
man, right? Like he was gonna be a savior.
They thought he was gonna be the savior.
He'd sell out to the highest bidder. Whoever paid him the most, that's who he'll run with.
Facts.
That guy's an opportunist. Always has been. Always will be.
Exactly.
Man, so make sure y'all subscribe to that channel, Night and Day Network LLC. Subscribe to this channel, Night and Day Talk Media. Go check out our cartoon, Night and Day Cartoon
Well,
channel.
yeah, check out the 9-Day Cartoon Network channel too. Make sure you go over there and subscribe. We've been putting content out over there too. So
make sure y'all go check that out. Subscribe to that, nightandDayHerbals.com. And we want to thank y'all for tuning in. We up out of here.
Yeah, we catch you on the next one. All right.
Peace.
If you crave nature but still shop online, Night and Day Herbals is your dream come true. Discover premium herbal soaps, shampoos, and CBD products. All organic, all for you. Shop now at nightandDayHerbals.com.